Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Shania. I'm a hairstylist and a senior undergrad accounting student. In this video, I'll be sharing with y'all how your personal car can be one of the best money savers when it comes down to tax time for your business. So if you want to know how to save money using your personal car for your business, make sure you keep on watching. What are some reasons why you would use your personal car for your business? Some of those reasons being to pick up supplies for your business, maybe to even run errands for some paperwork or whatnot. Depending on the type of business you are, you may have to drive from customer to customer. Maybe you may use your car to go post up advertising for your business, and the list can go on and on and on. But there are also ways where your personal car is not used for business, which would be if you were making, doing personal errands or driving from home to work. So even if you are a self-employed person and you're driving from home to work, that is not able to be deducted in your mileage. When you're trying to decipher if your mileage is being for business or for personal, just think to yourself, is this mileage I'm about to accumulate ordinary and necessary? Is it needed to operate my business? If so, then yes, you are able to calculate that mileage and use it to write it off on your taxes. There are two different methods in order for you to calculate how much can you actually deduct off of your taxes. There are two different methods in order for you to figure out how much can you actually deduct from your taxes. The first method being the actual expense method. The actual expense method is basically self-explanatory, where you'll be using the expenses you accumulate from operating your car to figure out how much you can deduct. There are 3 steps in order to accumulate this number. We're going to start off with step 1, which would be to calculate all of the car expenses that you have. So a car expense is things such as like your gas, your oil changes, any repairs you may have gotten, insurance, registration fees, licenses. Like, you'll go ahead and accumulate what this total is. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to give y'all an example. We're going to say that in 2023, we accumulated $2,000 worth of expenses for our car. Now for step 2. We need to calculate what percent of our car was actually used for our business. What you're going to do is take the amount of miles that you accumulated from your business and divide it by the total amount of miles you got for that year. So for the sake of our example, we're going to say that we accumulated 10,000 miles throughout the entire year, but 3,500 of those miles was for the sake of the business. So that was for like errands that we did, picking up supplies and that sort of thing. So now for the math part of this, we're going to do 3,500 divided by 10,000 miles, which will equal 0.35. That gave us our answer in decimal form, but we want it to be in percentage. So we're going to do the 0.35 times 100, which gives us 35%. In 2023, 35% of our car was used for our business. Now on to the final and third step. We're going to put step 1 and 2 together to calculate how much of our spending for our car can be deducted for our business. We're going to do $2,000, which is our expenses, times 35%, which will give us $700. That means out of that $2,000 that we spent throughout the year, $700 of that $2,000 was utilized by our business. So that is how we came up with the $700 that we will be able to deduct on our tax return. Now on to method number 2. Method number 2 is the standard mileage rate. It is important to note that if you will be using your car as a deduction on your tax return, the IRS states that in your first year of using your personal car as a business expense, you must use the standard mileage rate. Before I give y'all the rundown on how to calculate this, it is important to note that when you're trying to decide which method should you use, the IRS does state that in the first year of using your car as a business deduction, you must use the standard mileage rate if you want to go back and forth between the two methods. If you just want to stick to the actual expense method and the terms that you'll be using this car, then you don't have to worry about this. But if you're not sure, just make sure you keep that in mind. And this isn't for the entirety of your business, it's for the entirety of the car that you're using. So if you decide to go get another car and use it for business reasons, you can it refreshes and you can pick between which one you want to use. With the standard mileage rate, the IRS announces a new rate every year. Currently in 2023, that mileage rate is 65.5 cents per mile for business purposes. Keep in mind that this rate isn't just set in stone as soon as the year starts. In the first half of the year for 2022, the rate was 58.5 cents per mile. But towards the second half of the year, so miles that you accumulate in the second half of 2022, to 62.5 cents per mile. Checking for updates on if the mileage is still consistently the same or if it ended up switching. For the standard mileage rate, there's 2 steps to calculating your amount that you're able to deduct. Staying on topic with the example we used in the first half of the video, let's say that we accumulated 10,000 miles altogether for the entire year. This includes personal and business, but 3,500 of those miles was for business. So with step 1, we gathered how much of our miles was for business. Now for step 2, we're going to take the 3,500 and multiply it by the mileage rate, which for 2023, it is 65.5 cents per mile. So 3,500 times 65.5 cents, which in the calculator, you're going to do 0.655. So 3,500 times 0.655 equals $2,292.50. So I purposely used the same numbers just so y'all can see the difference between the two amounts. In the actual expense method, we got $700, but in the standard mileage rate, we got $2,292.50. Make sure you consider that when you're trying to decide in your first year which method to use, so that maybe down the line, even though in the beginning, when you're having a lot of startup costs, you may accumulate a lot of expenses for your car, which would be beneficial in that first year. But later down the line, a year or maybe 2, 3, or 10, the mileage rate ends up being a better option for you. So you don't want to be stuck and grandfathered in to the actual expense method. Now for the last and final component to calculating your business mileage and using it to your advantage to save you money is record keeping. This is a very important and crucial aspect to using your mileage in order to save money in your taxes. In the IRS world, there is this thing called an audit. And an audit is when the IRS comes to you and they're like, okay, I see that you made this amount of money, or I see that you spent or deducted this amount of money. We want to see proof that this actually did happen. So in order to avoid any confusion or any problems with the IRS, it is important that you keep record of all this mileage that you're accumulating over the year, so that if this ever happened to you, it's not guaranteed that it will. It's kind of like random, or if any concerns may come up. But if this was to happen to you, you already have your your documentation ready to show them that yes, I did actually accumulate these miles because of my business. The IRS doesn't have a set way on how to keep track of this mileage you accumulate, so you can use a journal or a notebook or an Excel sheet. There's even apps out here that you can use, and it uses your location and keeps track of the mileage that you accumulate. So that may be an easier and more effective way for you. But you just have to make sure you have specific information within whatever way you decide to keep track. That information that you should keep track of is the start and end mileage for the year, the date of the trip, the destination, and the reason for taking the trip. You should now understand what a business mile is, how to calculate it, and how to record keep for proof to the IRS that the mileages you have accumulated is indeed from your business. I hope this video has brought you some great value. If it did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like content revolving around accounting, personal development, and business improvement. And turn on the post notifications so that you know every time I upload a new video. I will see you all in my next video. Peace.